Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the A-Files podcast. And thank you so much for coming back because I get it. Listen, inflation is up. Grocery prices are up. The government is still shut down. Air traffic control is an absolute disaster. Trust me, I know this. It is just an absolute mess out here in the United States of America. And also, our lovely president, Donald J. Trump, has decided to now increase that Argentina bailout bill to $40 billion. So, not only are SNAP benefits run out for a lot of people and the food banks are overwhelmed, we have our president that doesn't give a damn and will not give anybody any money or any food or help the economy except put money in his own pocket. And his children, thing one and thing two, that look like the purge, are not only getting rich, but they're enjoying their little Saint-Tropez vacations on our dime. And so I'm just really pissed off about it. And so this lovely man, Donald J. Trump, well, he decided to let us know on another little secret. Because here on the A-Files podcast, I am 100% convinced Trump is going through a physical and mental decline. I think you've heard about it in the news. We've seen it. He stepped on an elevator. It just miraculously broke. He doesn't know the type of people he's pardoning. Yeah, well, he just wanted us all to know, because I think dementia and just memory loss in general is on the forefront of all of our minds when it comes to this president, right? Like, I can't be the only one that's worried he can't pronounce words correctly, or that he can't really accurately walk on an escalator without it breaking. I think it's just a lot of these things I'm starting to get really worried about. But guess what? But have no fear. Do not worry, because I have a question for all of you out there. And yes, I'm taking you back to school because that's what we do here on this podcast. So my question is today, what score do you all think Trump got on his MRI test? Yep, I know. You're like, what? His MRI, he went back to the doctors because he just went like a couple weeks ago because he has swollen ankles and like black marks on his hand like Mitch McConnell. Do you remember? But I'm not here to do one with elder abuse, so I'm not going to go into it. I respect my boomer and elder community. It's nothing but respect. So I'm not going to harp on his ankles or this mysterious black bruise on his hand and his speech issues, because I also do have some speech issues myself. Sometimes I get tripped up, right? Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes some shit happens, okay? So the president isn't exactly the only one in this situation. But I just want you all to know again, and maybe for the newer people here who haven't listened to any of my podcast episodes, I'm 100% convinced that when it comes to Trump's mental decline, that he's doing this for people like me. He's saying he scores perfect health scores, perfect fitness tests. I mean, doesn't he want to bring the military fitness test back? But then again, hold on a second. I'm now starting to think, because if we bring back the military fitness test, then half of the ICE agents, y'all know who I'm talking about, shouldn't be on the field, correct? I'm here to tell you, and just to reassure everybody out there that's listening, that Trump 100% confirmed, he really did confirm, that he had a perfect MRI score. That's right. He has a perfect MRI. Now, he said this so unprompted, okay? I didn't even know he was getting an MRI scan. Nobody knew. So I think that's a little weird, because the fact that Trump has been to the Walter Reed National Military Medical Center for a couple of months now doesn't sound great. And I think that if we learn anything from Joe Biden, do you remember when Jake Tapper wrote that book that actually Joe Biden was battling cancer and all of these health issues during his presidency? We should have known that for free. We should have known that when it was happening, because that is our right as American citizens, right? So I now need the same energy to be happening with this current president. And I'm worried, because the fact that he went to go get an MRI scan means that something's not working in the brain. And that kind of makes a little bit of sense with all the moves that are going on. But then again, are we giving his brain too much credit? I don't know. And his physician also said he's in exceptional health. So Trump then goes on to let us know at his 79 year of age that he is in exceptional health. And guess what? His physician co-signed. Yep. Trump goes, doctor said it was some of the best reports for the age they've ever seen. Oh, I'm sure he has the best reports at 79 years old. let me tell you something. My aunt is almost same age. And she is running around New York. She is literally having the best time of her life. She is out, she's partying, and she's in great health. That's what great health looks like. And Mr. President, if your physician is saying you're in excellent health, then we're worried about your hands and your speech and all of that. Maybe you should get a second opinion. I'm worried that the doctor is not doing right by you. So I'm worried there. I am worried there. Okay. So just wanted you all to know Trump's MRI scan came back perfect, I guess. Perfect score. I don't know what that means. I've never had an MRI, so is there a perfect score? Like, how do you determine what the score is? Let me know. All right, moving on from Trump, I do want to talk about something really cool. And this person is a pioneer in the ballet world. And so Misty Copeland graces the stage for the final time after 25 years in this field. She has retired. And for those of you who do not know who Misty Copeland is the first Black woman to become a principal dancer at the ABT. And the ABT stands for the American Ballet Theater. And she was promoted to that position in 2015, and that was a big deal back then because there was never a Black ballet dancer before her that became a principal dancer at the ABT. I won't sit here and say that I've watched her or followed her career her whole life, but I will say Misty Copeland is a name that you just hear about throughout the years. Especially maybe in the Black community as a little girl. Like when I was younger, I remember hearing about her when she was first starting. I'm 31 now, to put that in perspective. She has done numerous interviews about what it's like to be a Black woman on stage in a predominantly white field, which ballet typically is. So her story is really inspiring, and I was trying to look for a documentary on it, and I think this is a great opportunity for Netflix or HBO to reach out to the Copeland army, her crew, and do a whole documentary on her because she's fascinating. So just wanted to put that out there that Misty Copeland has officially retired, and yeah, go ahead, girl. She's 43 years old. Wow, she's 43 years old and still moving around like that? Tell me Black doesn't crack. Okay, that's Mitzi. Just kind of keeping on the sports, because I think ballet is a sport. Is that rude to say? Do people think that? I don't know. I think it's a sport because I feel like if you're putting your body through all of that, that's a sport. Even though it's like an arts too. Can it be both? Yeah, why not? Whatever. Misty Copeland can do what she wants. She deserves it. Okay, so moving on to soccer, or football as it's famously known around the world. Major League Soccer here in the United States is blowing up once again, and that's all because of Messi. So you all remember back in the day when David Beckham came to the LA Galaxy, and it was like a big deal because soccer here in the US isn't as big as football over in Europe and a beyond international, right? It's a huge sport. And David Beckham came here, and it kind of changed the vibe, I think, over here in the United States. Well, when Messi came back in 2023, he joined Inter Miami. And I'm going to tell you right now, everyone in the U.S., and so he's made it really popular here in the U.S. because our women's, especially for the Olympics, our women's soccer team, for example, women's soccer in the United States is very popular. Men's soccer didn't really become popular, or at least known, until like David Beckham and Messi, in my opinion. I could be so wrong though. I have a bit more of a European perspective when it comes to football because it's just so big in Europe and abroad and just internationally. So I would like to say, or think that maybe soccer wasn't as popular until David Beckham came, and then especially Messi. Like, Leo Messi is one of the biggest, if not the biggest superstars, football stars ever, with Ronaldo, right? Or Pele, right? And oh my gosh, how many footballers do I actually know? Hold on, here, let's test myself. I'm going to test myself. Okay, Leo Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Kylian Mbappe, Neymar. Is that what's his first name? What's Neymar's like full name? Anyways, Neymar, because I'm not cheating. That's the thing. I don't want to cheat and look it up. David Beckham, Wayne Rooney. Is it Rudy or Rooney? But he's problematic. I know him because of all his cheating. He's a serial cheater. And Tom Brady, I heard like he's looking after Tom Brady's football team. Whatever. Who else? Oh gosh, who else? Marcus Rashford, Vinny, because of all the racism he gets. Shout out to Vinny. If y'all want to come on the podcast, that'd be great. Who's the one that Shakira's ex-husband that cheated on her? whatever that dude's name is, scum, him. Because how do you cheat on Shakira? That's crazy. Anyways, him. Oh my gosh, this is so. Listen, I do know a lot more people, okay? I do. I really do. I really. Jesse Lingard. Harry Kane. Okay, now I'm going to go through the World Cup. Harry Kane. Oh, Deckard. Something Declan. Declan Rice. I don't know why that name sounds familiar. Declan Rice. Who else was on the England football team? Oh my gosh, he was dating Little Mix. That guy. If you guys know who I'm talking about, that guy. I'm gonna get there. Let's just call this the part 1 of me guessing footballers, and then when I learn more, I'll guess more. If that makes any sense. Pele, I said him earlier. Ronaldo, Rogelio, he's famous. Yeah, that's all I really know right now. That's so embarrassing. I'm so embarrassed, but I'm going to put this out anyway because I know more. The thing is, I actually know a lot more. And I'm really defending myself because I really do know a lot more, but I can see their faces. But anyways, please, I don't even know who I am. Okay, next. So shout out to Messi. Thank you. We're going to go to a game, by the way. So he signed, I didn't even tell you what Messi did. So Messi signed a new deal with Inter Miami to keep the Argentina star in MLS until 2028. So we're going to Miami. We're going to go see a game. Unless he comes to LA. Yeah, come to LA. Okay. Shout out to Messi. Come on the pod. Does he interview? When you're like a superstar, do you do interviews anymore? Like when you're at his level? I don't know. Hold on. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little triggered because I do know more names. But I feel like I'm going to get clowned on by a couple of my friends because this is really bad. Now, because one of my friends, she's a huge Bayern Munich fan. And I know them. Like, I can see them. Like, there's this guy that his name begins with O. Orlo. He doesn't play anymore, I don't think. But he used to play. That's going to really piss me off. Oh, my gosh. I know more. Vinny. Mbappe. You know what? This is going to be a sports episode because I want to talk about the NFL because, I've watched that to a T. The Jets finally won a game last night on Sunday, and I was so proud of them. I was so happy. They're playing against the Cincinnati Bengals, and finally they won by 1 point, but they did it. It was 39-38. They did it, and I was just so happy for them because I watched Justin Fields. He's the quarterback, the QB for the Jets, and he was just overwhelmed with emotion because I think they really needed this win because they were 0-7. So that we're week 7, is it now? Oh my gosh, are we already in week 7 of the football? And they were 0-7. That's not good at all. They have not won one game until last night. So I'm really happy for them. So shout out to the Jets. I mean, New York's kind of doing their thing lately. Maybe not the Jets so much. We got a lot of work to do, but we're getting there. But the Giants, there's 2 names that I'm going to leave with you here. I'm not going to go too deep into it. Scadaboo and Jackson Dart. Okay, so those 2 names you are going to hear for the rest of the Giants franchise unless they get traded because they have made a name. They are rookies and they have been killing it. Scadaboo did get hurt yesterday, which is a shame, but I think he'll be fine. The only thing I would say about the 2 of them is from what I'm learning, they play a lot of quote unquote, especially Scadaboo because he's is he a running back or a wide receiver? I'm so sorry. But he's an old school player and he's rough. So he's a touch player. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but he's very much like a physical player. So he really puts his head down and just runs right into you and doesn't give a damn. But to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, whenever he's done, like he kind of shakes his head like he's shaking his head to gain consciousness, and I'm like, oh my gosh, don't get CTE, because CTE is a real problem in the NFL because they just hit each other all the time. So I just wanted to kind of call that out because I thought it was pretty cool that the Jets won. So we're definitely paying attention to the Jets. We got one, we need another one. And here's a quick mini update. So as you all know, and for some of you who don't know, Minnie is my fur baby, but she's my daughter. You guys get what I'm saying. I birthed her. I pay for everything. I give her the cuddles. We go on the long walks. I'm the one that's pulling her back from chasing squirrels down and now crows. Well, for those of you who know, Minnie has epilepsy. I adopted her March of 2025, and she was in a really tough situation her first year of life. She had a horrible living situation, and they left her at the shelter, and then I found her and I gave birth to her, and now she's stuck with me for the rest of her life, which is going to be forever, because once I get my hand on that lifelong dog pill, did you guys hear about that? For older dogs, they now have produced this pill that can help extend their lifespan. Yeah, Minnie's going to be living until I'm dead. So I'm going to get my hands on that pill. Well, Minnie does have epilepsy, and it is not as severe as a lot of dogs out there that have epilepsy more on the reoccurring basis, but she does have seizures, and I've only been with her for about 6 months now, and that's something that I found out 3 weeks into my adoption journey with her. And it's been tough, but she's been getting a lot better. She's completely healthy, but her seizures are starting to become less and less as we move on. And her doctor always used to say, well, one of her doctors, because, I'm crazy and psycho, we go to a million different people. One of her doctors said that as long as if she can make 2 months without a seizure, I will feel a little bit better and we can go on a new treatment plan. Well, Minnie made 2 months and a day, and then she had a seizure over the weekend. And it was tough. It was a tough one because normally her seizures last like 3 to 5 minutes. And most of that time is the build up and build down, meaning not quite the shakes yet, but there's that panic. So she has like a panic attack where she's kind of looking around a bit confused of her environment. And then it will finally break into shakes. And then she'll drool, and she'll be drooling as it happens. And then it will stop and she'll calm down. So typically the build up and build down is the longer part of the seizure. In this case, her seizure lasted over 10 minutes and her shakes were quite a bit of that. And it was really scary because her head, I felt like, was shaking more. And I'm sorry if this is TMI, but this is my life, so we're going to talk about it. But this one was tough. This one was a tough one because the pills are obviously working, but I don't know why this seizure was so harsh is what I say. So we have a neurologist. We've met with a neurologist, so we're working on a plan, and I had to email the videos and all the information. So I'm waiting to hear back what I need to do next. I think we need to increase the dosage of her anti-seizure pill. So for context, she takes 2 types of pills. She takes 4 pills a day. And 2 of those pills are for her seizure management. So they're called Keppra, and they're at about 500 milligrams. And then she has another pill called Tortazol, and that is because she has high anxiety. And with her high anxiety, she has a problem with focusing. And I noticed that very early on. She's gotten so much better though, but I still keep her on that high anxiety med, and it's a very, very low dose. I can't even remember. I don't even think it was like 250 milligrams. It's very, very low, but it does help her focus, and it's been one of the best things for her because when we're outside, she can now focus a little bit more on using the bathroom or going where we're supposed to be going. So it's working. But the downside is because all the pills are working and she's not as scared, blah, blah, she is a terrier mix. So she is naturally aggressive. So because now she's able to show her personality, which I love, because you have to understand, like, I saw her when she was just like scared to death. You know what I mean? So for me now, she's the head bitch in charge. So for me seeing her, I have a real hard time. What is that called? In dog parents, you could probably do this too, especially when they've gone through a lot before you, if you adopt them and they've gone through a lot, or they have a medical condition, you just kind of spoil them a bit too much, right? And you're happy that they're showing their personality, because with me, for example, they're not aggressive. So with you, who's listening, who has a dog or a cat or whoever, they're probably not aggressive with you. But with others and strangers, she's very protective. So that's something I'm navigating and learning. And so I'm being a bit more strict on her training. And I wasn't before because I'm a sucker and a loser. And I give her everything you want. I literally live in her apartment that I pay for. So that's some shit. So I'm getting a bit more strict. But then when she has the seizures, I turn back into a sucker. And I'm like, ugh, you can have fun for a couple days. But I'm going to get back on the routine. I'm going to show her who's boss because, she has been acting up. She has been acting up and trying to push my buttons. And I've been laying down the law. I've been a lot better at it. But I need to do better. And I know that. But when you have an epilepsy shelter baby like my babies, you kind of turn a blind eye. So that's a mini update, but she's doing great. And as usual, and just really quick about her seizure, what makes this very unique is that she has her vitals, her awareness, everything. She's healthy. She has no weird thing in her blood. I've got every blood test taken. I've done everything. Y'all know I'm crazy. She's healthy. So the seizures are triggered, they think, by, it's obviously in the brain and all that, but we do think it's a behavioral thing, which it kind of shows and puts the perspective of how bad her first life was, because she's a year and 6 months. And so I had her 6 months ago. I guess I had her. No, but on the real, it's been such an interesting journey for me, learning about the brain cells, and I'm working very closely with the neurology team, at the local, I won't say where, but at the animal vet. And I don't know, maybe I'll kind of report back on what I find and what I learn, and as we're navigating her seizures and stuff, I definitely will report back, because maybe, I don't know, does anybody else have epilepsy babies out there? Are y'all on the Keppra and Trodazol? And by the way, this is my political part of the bullshit of this world. Animal drugs and medication have gone up too. It's insane. I used to pay 20 something. Now they're $33. That's insane. Medicine for pets is now expensive. So it's just really bad. Premium's about to double. It's a hot ass mess here. I just don't know what we're going to do. No one can find a job. Eventually the market's going to crash. The inflation is going to be so high that we're not going to be able to buy healthy food. There's no farmers because the beefing industry and all of that went to Argentina. What else? ICE continues to terrorize people. Oh, and not only people, but students and kids. ICE is literally snatching up kids, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds. How that's not illegal, I'll never know. What else? The Epstein files still haven't been released. Mike Johnson and them, or the government shutdown is really, I believe, around the Epstein files, which puts in perspective of how bad it is. And speaking of the Epstein files, I'm still reading Virginia Giuffre's book. It is amazing and very, very telling. It's a tough read, but I can't wait to do a whole deep dive on it, because a lot of people are shook, and it kind of explains a lot of the things that are going down right now. I don't think the Trump administration and the royal family and all them ever thought Virginia was going to write a tell-all. And I'm so glad she did, because I cannot wait for the trial of our lifetime after this administration. All right, guys, happy Monday, and you're doing the best you can. You know what I mean? You guys are doing the best you can. I'm doing the best I can. You're doing the best you can. Minnie's doing the best she can. It's just a hot ass mess. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.